Good afternoon, my sweet and wonderful Kit Kats. How is everybody today? Come on in. Let's have some fun together today before we head up to the North Woods for the weekend. If you're seeing that red light button, you're catching me live right here in the Keli-Kat Crafts studio that some of you may have just seen posted on my page recently. If that red light button is missing, you're just catching me on replay. I would so greatly appreciate if you could just hashtag replay me down in the comments so that I know you were here, and I will do my best to thank you for joining us. So come on in. How did we make it to another Friday already, guys? I had a little extra time before we head up north for the weekend. I thought I would pop on with all of you, and we'll see what we can't get done today. So say hello when you're able to join so I can welcome you in and tell me all the good things. It's Friday. Does everybody have plans for the weekend? What's it like in your neck of the woods? I would love to know. While people are joining, I'm just going to sprinkle myself over here on my tablet. So just bear with me for a moment. I see you coming on in. Hey, Jess, how are you, darling? So good to see you. Let's see. There I am. Let's share. Hi, Barbara Ann. Nice to see you, dear. How are you? All right, let's just do a little sprinkling here. Hey, sweet Denise. Nice to see you, too. Hi, my beautiful Miriam. How's everybody today? All right, let's just do a little sharing. If you guys don't mind sprinkling, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Share your lives. That looks good. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. It is going to rain here. It looks like very, very soon. Reels and shorts, bear with me, guys. Creative team. La, 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 la. Nope, nope, nope. I'm still not 100% sure where it is safe to share to, so just bear with me here. Doing great. Oh, Jess, I am so proud of you, hon. Good for you. What a great feeling. Congratulations. Hi, Donna. Hey, Carol Ann. Nice to see you. Thank you, Barbara Ann, for the sprinkle. Hi, beautiful Martha. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, Denise, for the sprinkle. I appreciate that so much. Enjoyed your tour. How many hearts are you making, Beauty? How many hearts? How many years, Betty, darling? 3 years. 3 years that I have been down here in my little craft room. If some of you have been watching me since the beginning, when I was crafting down here in a little recliner, sitting up on my knees so I could get high enough. And I just had a little shop light down here that I would craft with that Greg let me borrow. It was kind of crazy. Aw, Jess, that is so stinking amazing. Hi, sweet Sheila. Jess, how is your mom doing? Make sure she watches the tour of my craft room, because I do show the stand that she got me for some of my spiders, so it's there. Thank you. 880 days. That's fantastic. Do any of you remember how crazy it was when I first started? How just like scared to death I was. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've come a long way. Hi, sweet Mary Grace. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. I felt so bad because it took like 20 minutes to upload that video. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it, hun. And I had been trying since like 10 after 11, and probably 30 minutes it took me to try to get it out there. And then it would get so far and stop, so I'd have to try it again. So I apologize for that. It should have been out there promptly at 11:30, and it wasn't. My apologies. But that was part of the Fun Friday for Craft Round the Clock. You could either do a live tour or a pre-recorded video, and I don't think I've ever really done a Fun Friday with Craft Round the Clock. So if you are interested in watching some more of that this afternoon, please go ahead and join if you haven't, Craft Round the Clock. There's just a couple questions that you have to answer to get approved in. It's a free group where you can watch crafting basically 24/7, either live or replays. Hi, beautiful Rima. How are you? I'm hanging in there. I'm so happy to see you. Oh, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I told everybody 11:30, and here it is like 11:40, and it's still, had all that way to download yet, the little bar that goes. All right, so today we're going to do something fun. And I, of course, have gotten this new IOD Heraldry mold, I think is how you say it. This is the only one that I was able to snag from the 2025 summer release from IOD. You're babysitting, Reba? That's so happy. I got to see Henley for a little bit yesterday. My daughter and son-in-law are having some remodeling done in their bathroom, and I wasn't going to be home, but she said, Mom, do you mind if I come over and just put Henley down for a nap there? I said, well, of course, you know, I'll try to hurry up. Hey, sweet Tina. So actually it was super nice when I came home. Henley was sleeping downstairs and my daughter was taking a snooze on the couch, and it made this mama's heart feel really good. And then I do have her every other Friday. So if you are in need of this amazing mold, you can find it at the link in my description today for Old to Ooh La La Art. Thank you, sweet Lynn. How are you, darling? So good to see you. So today we're going to use these wings, of course. How can we not? And I took the advice of our sweet friend, Kathy Dean, the other day when I was using this mold, and we did that, that block craft with the hearts and the crowns. It was so nice, Rima. I absolutely loved it. Kathy said, ooh, this would be really fun on some sort of wedding decor to put your initials or something like that, kind of like a crest. So let me grab the one I did and I will show it to you. I forgot to do that, but we're going to use Formflex wings that I've already done and kind of had sitting out here ready to go. So we're going to have some fun, hopefully, with those. Hang on one second so I can grab that heart. So if you saw my craft room tour, you saw all those hearts hanging, right? I only have one more left, guys, and I have them all finished. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you. So I did take that crest kind of looking Formflex casting that I had made, and I put a letter G on it from the insignia stamp from IOD. And I didn't have a stamp that would be small enough to put G plus R or whatever. Hi, Patricia. You got that one too. I knew I would use it more than any of them, but there are amazing other molds out there, transfers, stamps, all the happy things from IOD. If you're in need of any of those things, please check out Victoria's link in the description today. Thank you, Rima. And let her know in the comments if you do place an order that you heard it through Keli-Kat. That would be awesome. Rock and Roll Neil, hello and welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. So I think it turned out pretty cute. I put one on the back side, just a really fun little lace bundle down here, a little Totally Dazzled. Hi, my beautiful Kimberly, I miss you so much. And then just some pearls for a handle. I think it turned out fun. So sweet Kathy Dean, if you watch, thank you so much for your suggestion. I thought it was wonderful. All right, so we're using this mold, these wings in here. And we are just gonna take this pretty little frame, of course, that I got thrifting. Hi, Mickey, darling. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you, Rima. And we're gonna do some painting and crackling on here, just our one component crackle. But before we do that, I have this pretty paper from Decoupage Queen. Thank you. Thank you, sweet Carrie. How are you, hon? This is called Andy Skinner Watercolor Wings. And while I don't want to cover them up completely, we're just going to kind of enhance them with those wings that are from that mold made out of Formflex. And we're going to paint them to kind of resemble the colors that we have going on in here. I have had this paper for so long. Hey, Catherine, nice to see you. Hi, Diane, welcome in. And it's just one of those things that I had to look at for quite some time before I knew what I wanted to do with it. Well, hey, Doreen, nice to see you, hon. Wishing you a great weekend. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Diane, it's so nice to have you. So we're going to just decoupage this down on the glass, of course, that came with the frame. How is Sheila today? So all I did to the frame and the glass was Zinsser spray prime it with my loving that Zinsser primer, right? And then I did put a coat of, what did I use? I used Farmhouse linen over my primer from Paint Couture. You think you have that paper, Carrie? It's so pretty, and I just wasn't sure what to do with it. And I think sometimes that it is totally okay to just keep it simple and let the rice paper kind of speak for itself. So we're gonna go ahead and decoupage this down. We're gonna lose just a little bit, but it won't be bad at all. So our Pentart Silky Shine Decoupage Varnish and Glue is what we shall use. So if you do prime your items, which I highly recommend that you do, don't use your primer as your underneath color, in my opinion only, of course. You still want to paint it with a white, a cream, an ivory, something neutral so that your rice paper pops. Don't use your primer as that coat. Sheila, I'm doing okay. I thank you so much for asking, and I'm so glad you're here. So we're going to just do half at a time here. So I line it up where I want it and pick up half of it. What does everybody have on their agenda for the weekend? We are heading up north. I am so excited. As soon as Greg gets off work, so I've been doing all the things, making sure I'm packed and, you know, all the food stuff is ready. I made some cucumber salad. Does anybody like that this time of year as much as I do? I think I could eat it every single day and never get sick of it. So I have that ready. My bags are packed. It's like, come on, Greg. I'm so glad you're good, Carrie, hon. You guys see this okay? I might have to put you down just a hair yet. And anybody who ordered who had things in the auction, almost all of them have been sent out. There's just 1 or 2 more next week. Otherwise, they are on their way to you. And I thank you so very much. Hey, Deborah, darling, how are you? Thank you. I'm so happy to see your name here. So I also did post on my page a few things that are available for purchase. If you are interested at all, just send me a direct message and we can talk about it. Where are you going? Oh, we just go up to our cabin up north. It's about a 3-hour drive. Hi, my beautiful Jody. So not terrible. Of course, I don't love long drives, I gotta tell you. So for me, it seems a lot longer. Let's just sand this off. Especially when you want to get up there, you know what I mean? Hi, beautiful Kath, how are you? I went a little too much there on the varnish and glue. Let me just dry that quickly. What does everybody else got going on for the weekend? It looks extremely rainy here currently. And the sky looks really funky, actually. I just took a peek when I was outside, loading some things, you know, into the garage for the Greg to grab when he gets home. But it looks like it's supposed to be a pretty nice weekend, so I'm hoping that's the case. So sorry about that noise. Let me go ahead and finish that really quick. There we go. All right, so that is a Decoupage Queen rice paper. You can find that in my link to TH Decor. You're getting some rain, Jody. It's definitely gonna rain here for sure. The sky looks like yellowish almost. And let me tear this part off. It's Andy Skinner Watercolor Wings. The number is 0598. I'm not 100% sure if it is available, but if you need my link to TH Decor, you can just type in your comments, !THDECOR. And of course, that chat bot will send you back a link that you click on. It'll take you directly to my affiliate link with them. And you could type in that rice paper number 0598 and see if this is still available. So sweet Jody, I hear that Jess graduated. How proud you must be of her. About an hour for us. That would be perfect. An hour for me, I can handle. 3 hours, I'm kind of like a kid, and I'm like, Greg, are we there yet? It's a beautiful drive, and it's not that we, you know, have a lack of things to talk about. We always have fun together no matter what. So I'm just sealing this with that same varnish and glue. Just making sure our edges are down super great. And if you notice that you get any kind of bubbles, it usually they'll kind of suck themselves back in as this is drying. So don't worry, but definitely seal. Okay, so we have that. Let's set that aside for a moment, and we're gonna start working on our frame here. 78 days, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think I saw another one. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you, dear. Hi, Cheryl. Can't finish planting your flowers. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're here, though. 888 days. Thank you so much. Janet, I am in Wisconsin. I drive to North Carolina 12 hours. Really? Oh, God, no. I have never enjoyed like that kind of travel. For one thing, I have a lot of back and neck problems, and it hurts after about an hour or so. So for me, it's like, oh my God, are we there? All right, so we're gonna paint our first layer on the frame in this really pretty chalky paint that is called Poison Green. To me, it is like more of a teal color. This is from Pentart, so this is available at my TH Decor link also. So let's go ahead and paint our frame. All right. Jody, I can't believe you love it. And I'll tell you, I think we were talking about that recently. I never did well with travel like that as a kid either. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you. So I pulled some of the colors that are in that rice paper. And as soon as we get this down in our crackle medium, we're going to use the 1 component crackle here. We're going to attempt to kind of pretty up those wings, kind of watering down some of the colors that are in there. And then you could either do, I think we're going to do wax paste in various colors because Lord knows I love them. I love them so much. As you might have seen, if you watched the tour of my craft room, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had fun doing it. But you could also come in and do some foils on those wings if you like that. That would be super beautiful also, just like on the tips of the wings would be pretty. But I happen to have all the wax paste that really match what's in that rice paper, so why not do that? So tell me all the wonderful things that are going on for you today or over the weekend. Anything exciting? I did not know we were supposed to get rain. It looks like it's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. And I am in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So I am about an hour. If we head north, we're about an hour to Green Bay. And if we head south, we're about an hour to Milwaukee, if you have heard of any of those cities. So we're kind of right in the middle. And this is such a pretty color. Have any of you guys used the Pentart chalk paints at all? I don't see any comments, so I wonder if they have stopped. Let's go out here. They must have stopped having a barbecue, Michelle. That sounds so nice. I did do the tour, Sweet Carrie. Yeah, so they've stopped on, there we go, now they're back. A barbecue sounds great. And so the cabin is, I will say, near a little place called Crandon. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of that, but we love it there. We don't get very good cell reception, if any, unless we take a little drive. You love it, Sheila? Good. I do too. And oftentimes I don't know, like I forget about certain things that I have. Do you guys remember when I did that burlap technique? I wanted to get a few more of the chalky paints, and I got these, used them for one project, and then put them in my, my cabinet. And if I'm not looking in there all the time, I kind of forget. You'll have to replay. I didn't do a live one. I did a pre-recorded one, so it took me a bit to get it downloaded. And so when it was my actual time slot, it was still trying to download. I felt terrible. But it should be at some point, if it hasn't already, probably later today, it will be sprinkled over to the, Craft Around the Clock page, because that was their Fun Friday for today. Sneak peek of like behind the scenes of your craft room. So what are you guys thinking about this color? I love it. I think it's going to go nicely with that paper. And the chalk paint, it's beautiful coverage. We're gonna do that one component crackle from Pentart. That is a favorite. If you haven't used it and you like crackle, it works amazing. If you saw the tray, the quick video I did of the metal kind of hammered tray, no, not that one. My apologies. I take that back. What was the one I did with the crackle recently? Could have been the block. We did it on that block. Thank you, Janet. It starts to happen before you even apply any heat towards it. So I love it. It works so good. But then again, if you know me, you know that I love me some crackle of any kind. So we may not need another coat on here. If we do, it's just going to be like a little touch up here or there. So we're going to dry this. We will put on our one component crackle medium from Pentart. That's a TH Decor item also. And you don't have to get the large sizes, which is fantastic. I personally like the large sizes, so the next one I order of the crackle, the one component here, I'm going to be getting the larger size because I just love it. So some of the frames I get thrifting. You know, you can't take the back completely off. So you just saw me put in a little piece of cardboard in between those layers so that I don't, you know, muck up the back real bad. You're at an appointment, Donna Sue? That's okay. I'll probably still be here when you get out. You know, I try to say, oh, I'm just going to pop on and do a quick craft, and it never goes that way, does it? Oh, well, what do you do? That's the great thing. You can always watch on replay. You can pop off if you have to and come back in. That's okay, too. And I just could not find the time yesterday with packing all the auction items and doing all the things and, you know, figuring out shipping and doing the labels and getting them dropped off. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, because I absolutely love it, but I just simply ran out of time. All right. Just trying to do the painting part a little bit faster. Isn't that just so pretty, though? Thank you for the likes. I love that. Thank you so much. Facebook loves that also. Just lets them know that you like what you're seeing, and hopefully they sprinkle me out a little bit further. That's okay, sweet Miriam. Oh, come now. We don't want that. Let's be friends. I don't think so. Just a second, guys. Let me just get rid of that. Hopefully that worked. My apologies. Okay. I have to say, it's kind of nice having my tablet right here. I don't mean to look away from you and not pay attention. She is wonderful, Michelle. Thank you so much for asking. She is the silliest little girl and the sweetest little thing. And we just were talking this morning, my daughter and I, texting here and there. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Dara. I appreciate that. How are you, dear? She sent me a picture of her this morning. And she said, Mom, how did she get so big so fast? I said, I don't know, but I wish she would stop. I mean, I want her to grow up, and she's growing up into a beautiful, sweet little pumpkin pie, I call her. But I can't believe she's going to be 2 already in August. Thank you so much, Miriam. I appreciate that. All right, let's give this a little bit of a dry and kind of see where we're at on our paint coverage. Hi, my beautiful Kim. Thanks for joining. I'm going to dry up this frame. I have just a pretty piece of rice paper that we decoupage down from Decoupage Queen. It's the Andy Skinner Watercolor Wings is what it's called. In case you didn't see it, I'll show it to you here in just a second. And if you are new to joining us at Keli-Kat Crafts, let us know so that we can give you a welcome. Do you know a collector of craft items? My room looks like a hoarder may have hit it. Oh, no. Thank you, Carrie. Martha with supplies. I'm a collector of craft items. I don't know if, Martha, you saw the tour of my craft room, but I tried my best to show you what I've got going on in here. Lots of things, lots of containers, you know, all of the goodies. Hey, sweet Carol. Thank you, Carol Ann, for sharing the kitties. I appreciate that so much. So this is just a very pretty color chalk paint from Pentart. It's called Poison Green, and I can understand why, but if you're, you know, having a trouble really getting the good vibe from it, it's like a teal, I would say. Super, super pretty. We're gonna put our 1 component crackle on here. And then over the top of that, when it is super dry, we're gonna do the angel eyes. My favorite paint couture paint. I can't help myself. Those colors are in that rice paper, but also sometimes I think it is super fun. Hi, Blenda, nice to see you. To pull some colors, you know, that may not even be in there, but might be a nice contrast. That's always fun to do too. And that is what I did on that tray, that chippy tray that I did with the candle wax. It's a bit different than my normal stuff, you know what I mean? But I think it turned out really nice. Aw, Janet, thank you so much. I appreciate that so very much. And if you ever need help, I am there for you. Just send me a message. Do they replay? They do, my darling. Thank you, Michelle. I like it too. So in the featured section on the Craft Round the Clock group, that is where you'll be able to catch the replays. And then Fun Friday, like Fun Friday today, all of us that had either a live sneak peek behind the scenes of your craft room or a pre-recorded, they're still going on the rest of the day. And then those replays are at the top in the featured section. So usually there's like a little red dot there. Right along the top, there's a couple subheadings. And if you click there, that's where you can watch the replays. Let's see. Hi, Cecile, watching from Canada. So nice to have you. Thank you so much for joining. If you don't mind sprinkling out, that just means sending me over to your page. If you do it publicly, that's so appreciated. But if you share me to a group or whatever it is, that is fine with me too, and I appreciate it just as much. All the things, right? So let's just bear with each other here as we get this part done, and then we'll start working on those wings together. So if you haven't used FormFlex, we'll just talk about that right quick while we're doing this. FormFlex is that molding compound that stays flexible. You basically put it in your mold. You first start out with some cornstarch, you know, kind of brushed in there. Then you're gonna fill your silicone mold, get off your excess, and you actually put your mold in the freezer. I'd say a minimum of 20 minutes, longer if it is a more detailed mold. When you take them out, you want to release your castings, and your castings are just what you're making in the mold. So these angel wings are castings. They came out of that IOD mold. I put them on some pieces of rice paper. I'm sorry, parchment paper, goodness gracious. And let them sit for a good 24 hours before I go ahead and paint them or use them. They'll be super soft once they come back to room temperature. And over that 24 hours, they just kind of firm up nicely so that you're not, you know, pushing on them or kind of marring up any detail that might be on them. Thank you, Cecile. You love Formflex? Oh, me too. It's amazing. And that's what I did with the wings that we're going to use today. They've actually been sitting on my craft table for several days because once I got that little mold in my hands, I couldn't help it. I had to make something with it right away. And I'll show that mold to you again. So let's just quickly go over these areas one last time. And then when I don't, whatever I'm not using, I store in a little container with a lid on it in between some pieces of parchment paper. That works well for me. Just make sure your lid is, you know, sealed on there and you're good to go. But I will tell you that many times, and there's still a couple sitting out here on my craft table that I haven't put away and they're still perfectly flexible and amazing. So if you are in need of trying some Formflex, I do have the link in my link tree. It's !Linktree in the comments if you would like the link to that. I'm not affiliated with them at all. They don't have affiliates. Otherwise, I definitely would be. But the link is there for you. And our sweet friend Denise was asking, the other day, having a little trouble putting in her credit or debit card. It'll pop up there and say, you know, once you've added it to your cart. Thank you, Carol Hahn. I appreciate that. It'll say PayPal, Apple Pay. You don't really see a spot that says debit, credit, what have you. So what you do is pick PayPal, and it's going to walk you through the process just like you would if you're purchasing something else and using your debit card. And it's at the end that you'll be able to put in your card information. Hi, beautiful Judy Sue. How are you? Is it raining there in Madison? It's going to be here for sure. I went outside to water some of my plants, you know, before the weekend, and they get dry and angry at me while we're gone. Hi, Lori, darling. You've been moving for a few weeks. How's that gone? I'm glad you're here. Just trying to really get down so the edge or the little corners here are on the frame like that. Those are usually ones that I like to look for when I am thrifting. Let's see. Supposed to get windy, really. Janet, it's !Linktree, Linktree. But you're right, all lowercase and no spaces. And Chatbot will send you back the link. Click on there, it'll take you to my link tree, and then you're just gonna look for Formflex Compound. And if you have any questions or there's something I can do, you know, to help you or guide you through that process, please let me know. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, Judy Sue, I looked and it was like, oh, you know, we're gonna get quite a bit of rain here. So our drive up north might be a little bit rainy, but it looked okay after that. All right, I think this is gonna be good. I don't, you know, necessarily need 100% full coverage because we're gonna be crackling here. But I do like to try and cover up any of the primer that might be showing. And in the little edges here of the frame, I can see just a little bit more. So that should do it. There you go. Perfect, Janet. Oh, Lori, that sounds so nice. I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm sure you definitely need it. Moving is tough. My gosh, right? Take a break. All right, here is the rice paper that we just decoupaged onto the glass from our frame. What? I'm amazing. Thank you, sweet Paula. I appreciate it. Have to watch out for the Canadian wildfire smoke. It's so sad, isn't it? So sad. Hi, sweet Linda. You're waiting for your doctor. Well, I hope your appointment goes okay. Thank you so much for popping on to say hi. I appreciate it. You've had rain all week, Carrie. It's been beautiful. So I always say when I get up in the morning and pull back the curtains, if it is sunny, I'm like, yes, it's going to be an okay day. When we get that rain, you know, I know it has to happen, obviously, but it just makes me sleepy and kind of like, meh. So here is the one component crackle medium that we're going to use. I so wish I was able to flip my camera for you guys. Hey, sweet Ruby, nice to see you, dear. So nice to have you on. So we want to make sure this is good and dry before we put on that crackle medium. Thank you, Ruby, I appreciate it. Hi, Beverly, thank you for the sprinkle. Just a follow-up, that's good. So nice to have you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If I did miss you coming on in or you are silently watching, just know I appreciate you being here. So guys, I am super stoked that I almost have all those Dollar Tree hearts done up for the wedding. I'm way ahead of schedule, right? I have to be, because you know what? Our sweet Greg is in outage, what they call it, at his work starting in August. Is it something new? Nope, this one's been around for quite some time, darling. One component, it's like maybe like your classic crackle where you're kind of sandwiching it between two colors. Typically your base color would be dark, then your one component crackle, and then your lighter color over the top. Oh, right, Carol? My gosh. Getting out to the cabin. When are you getting out to the cabin, sweet Judy Sue? Hi, Kim, darling. So he will work about 12 weeks straight with no break. And in preparation for that, he'll be working overtime, weekends, all that kind of stuff. He's going to do some landscaping for us. That sounds nice. Hi, beautiful mom, Sharon Hall. I can't wait to see what he does. Oh, you were probably commenting to someone else, Kim. My apologies. So sorry about the dry time, but it is definitely necessary when you're doing any kind of crackle. We need heavy rain because a terrible fire is burning. Oh, Cecile, we definitely will send prayers, hon. You comb the kitties, Miss Paula? Thank you. We will be sending prayers for a while. Not for a while. Oh, no, you won't. Yes, exactly. We probably will be able to go one more time this season after this weekend, and that's it, which is such a bummer. But I don't want to say too much because I don't want to make him feel bad, you know? He can't help it. So wedding stuff has to get done, whatever the Gregster needs to do before that time. Hi, Margaret. So nice to see you. Because I can't imagine asking him for help during that time when he is working like a madman, you know? So it's an outage where they have to do like preventative maintenance and all of that kind of stuff. He works at a energy plant, basically produces electricity, puts it on the grid, you know? Do you have any updates on Deb? I know she's doing okay, and I thought she might go live the other night, and then she decided she was just too tired, so I'm not sure when we might see her, but she says she's doing okay. He does, sweet Cheryl. Yes, he does. Big turbines in there, and that all has to be, like, they take the roof off the building, they take everything apart and out and all the things. So a lot of these contractors come in, and months before they will set up their trailers, so they're delivered, you know, on big semi trucks and all the things. You're welcome, Margaret, of course. That was just a couple days ago that I messaged with her. And she said she was doing better. So I'm so happy. I just miss her face so much, you know? All right, that should be good on that. So Let's do our crackle medium. I myself like to give this a little stir. It's just me. Come on, so Mary's get up there. We get some, but not like that. We don't get too much. We don't get too much, really. Not your wedding. I know. Well, Miss Paula, I know how busy you have been with that, so I haven't wanted to ask you. It's coming right up around the corner, and I know you're busy. Okay, so we're just going to put a nice coat of this one component crackle medium all over our frame. This is, you know, a little stickier. And I just want to make sure, of course, I've got something in there already. Get out of there. That I don't have any drips. I try to prevent that. You don't have to worry on this type of crackle. You can go back and forth with your brush, where like your fine line crackle, I try not to do that too often because you're lifting away some of the product then. I kept dropping the call. That's a bummer, huh? I usually just send her a message and tell her I'm thinking of her and that I hope she's okay and that I miss her. You know, when I don't hear from some of my friends that are, you know, either normally on or they watch a replay or they comment or what have you, I start to get a little bit worried. So then I have to reach out and say, are you okay? I can't help myself. For 36 years, Cheryl. Wow. Yeah, Greg is a electrician. He's a turbine technician. He's a maintenance mechanic. He's all the things. He's a jack of all trades, right? That's what I always say. Well, thank you, sweet Paul. I appreciate it. I definitely do have some things that we could do together that would be nice. But you get through that wedding first. But I have a lot already done, and I feel real happy with that. We went to the barn this week, so Greg could see it. He's never seen it yet. He was just trusting me on it. And I said, you know what? I really think you should see it so that you kind of have an idea and make sure, you know, it's okay with you. He said, I'm fine with it. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. I said, well, let's go because it'll be nice to see it. They just had a craft fair there recently. I've been in a few of those with Miss Paula and my sweet sister Rachel. And, you know, I've seen it, but I've always seen it with craft stuff in it. Craft ladies and tables and wares. So I said, let's wait until that's all over so we can get a better idea. And he loved it. So that made me happy. Your latest bedroom makeover is gorgeous. Paint, name, and brand, right? Hi, sweet Karen G. Nice to see you. Miss Paula is definitely good at that. Redoing of things. In fact, if you did see the tour of my craft room, the large pieces other than the table that I'm working on, but I did used to have something, a thrifted piece there also. But everything that you kind of see in there, Miss Paula and I went thrifting together when I kind of started getting in more serious to the crafting world. Thank you, Karen. Hi, Bridget. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me just check a few of these spots here. Can kind of look at it in the light and I'll be able to see if I missed any areas. But do know that as soon as you put it on, of course, and the air hits it, it's going to start drying on you. That looks fine. And then don't worry. Like if you do miss a spot, I always say, don't worry. Crackling and aging and patina and rust and all the things, they don't happen the same on the pieces, you know, that you see that have done it naturally. It's here and there. Maybe one side of it is, you know, laying down and doesn't get the sun or the moisture or whatever. So don't be too hard on yourself if you miss a spot. Absolutely. Hi, Peggy. Nice to see you. This is a one component crackle medium. I'm gonna hold it up here for you. So all I did on this thrifted frame ahead of time is I used something called Zinsser Spray Primer, Zinsser. Excuse me, you can get it at most hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, Meijer's, Walmart, Amazon, and it's fantastic. It goes on in a white or gray spray. I usually get the white if I can, and I let that dry really, really well. And then we painted the frame with this beautiful poison green from Pentart that you can get at my link to TH Decor. We dried that paint really well, and then we put on the one component crackle medium. So in that little orange box, it says one component. Hi, Suzanne. Hey, Cheryl. I'm sorry everything's backwards, but they took away our ability to flip our cameras. So annoying. Thank you, Karen Jean. I like it too. How is Suzanne today? So nice to have you. Although I have seen that some crafters are still able to do it, and I was too for the longest time, and then all of a sudden one day, just like that, it was gone. Why? I don't know. Thank you, Judy Sue. All right, so these are the Form Flex wings that I made, these castings, and I have, of course, a pair of them, like that. They came from the new IOD. You're welcome, Peggy, of course. This is called the Heraldry mold. And if you are in need of purchasing this mold, I did check right before the live, and it is available at the link in the description of my live today. My sweet friend Victoria from Old to Ooh La La Art, that is where I get all my IOD things from. And there's lots of other things still available from that release, other molds, transfers, let's see, paint inlays, stamps, things like that. So if you click on her link in the description of my live and you do happen to order, if you don't mind just putting in your comments that Keli-Kat sent you, I would greatly appreciate it, and that just helps me out a little bit. So once we get this nice and dry, we're going to come over the top of this with the color Angel Eyes from Paint Couture, my favorite. It is a beautiful, soft angel eye blue. That's the best way I can describe it. And Paint Couture comes from my link to all paint products. So that is in my link tree, all paint products. And then you would just look in the menu for Paint Couture, or it is also pinned at the top of my page. I don't understand why they're always messing with the creators. I know, right? And especially something like that. Why take that away? You know, I don't understand that. All the changes that they're making with, you know, getting rid of old videos, deleting them, all that kind of stuff. Hey, sweet Barb, nice to have you on, dear. I do understand it. They've been talking about that for quite some time. That's a lot of storage. Imagine all the people on Facebook and all the videos that are saved and, you know, all those good things. I do understand it. And they do give you plenty of options to get your videos downloaded. You can ask for a longer period of time. They'll come up now and it'll say your live from the state is going to be deleted on this date. Download now. You know, so for me, I've had no issues. But I also did not feel like it was necessary. Yes, Denise, you got it, hon. Those are my favorite too. Hi, sweet Jen. How are you doing, darling? I just didn't think it was necessary to go and do all of them and like pound out YouTube with all the lives. So I've been just doing some here and there that I think will be beneficial, you know, to be able to go back on. And then anything else, you can either say, hey, we really like a video that we can go back to on YouTube of you doing this. I can recreate it, no problem. The comments are hit or miss, you're right, hon. I have no problem doing that. And so if some get deleted, you know, that's okay. I went out there and saved the ones where Mom Bees was here because those are precious, right? I had to get those. I'm glad you're good, sweet Jen. Thank you for joining me today. You know, and I did a few of things that I do often, like fine line crackle, or you know, some of the cloche molds and things like that. So if you aren't a subscriber to YouTube, I would love it if you would subscribe to me. And in my link tree, you will also find my YouTube link. I will eventually do a few lives there, but I won't leave Facebook until they kick me out. Because you know why? That's where I started. And even though there's issues and things that drive me absolutely batty, this is where all of you are, so that's where I will be. Okay, so we're gonna kind of let this sit for the rest of the drying while we start on the wings, because the painting, the drying, all that stuff can be kind of boring, right? Hi, Cynthia, nice to see you. So let's go ahead and set that aside. So I think, you know, this is pretty in there with that color. You can see that okay. So we're gonna set aside both of those. And we will come back in with that lighter color over the crackle. So on our little wings here, I have my little spritzer bottle of water, because I want this to look, you know, you see how this is kind of almost like watercolor painted. That's what it kind of looks like, right? That's what I'm going to try to achieve, that kind of color on the wings. I know, right, Denise? Thank you, Cynthia. My notifications were off, but they're on now. If you want to get notified, sweethearts, of when I go live and you have the Telegram app, I'm going to just spritz my wings a little bit here. And then I have some tiny little paper plates. And we're going to start with this beautiful, it's a darker metallic sparkling blue from Pentart. So I'm trying to pull colors from the rice paper there. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my plate. So if you have the Telegram app, that's a free app. All you have to do is type in your comments, !notify. We're going to water our paint down a little bit too. And just give that a little stir. And Chatbot's going to send you back a link to my Telegram channel. Click on that. It'll take you to my channel. And then on the very bottom is just a spot you have to click on that says join. Thank you, Carrie. So this is a beautiful, sparkly, metallic blue. It's gorgeous. Okay, and then once you've done that, anytime I go live, I go to my Telegram channel and I type in there, you know, craft room tour, or I'm going live at this time. And then that Telegram app is going to send you a little notification, ding. 684 days. Thank you so much. I'm just keeping this right next to me so I can kind of keep an eye on those wings and where I want to add my colors. And watering it down just seems fun, so why not try it? Now with the sparkling colors like this one, sparkling blue, it does take a couple of coats before you're really going to see the true color. So this is going to look just a little bit wonky initially, but we're also going to do a little drying in between. And once I get that more of that dark sparkling blue, I will hold these up so you can see them a little bit better. So your Formflex, you can paint it, you can stain it, you can use waxes on it, you could spray it, you know, if you so chose to. You can make it look rusty, you can make it look like patina. You can do with your Formflex pretty much anything. You can use pigment powders on it, mica powders, all kinds of things. Super, super fun. Hey, sweet Tammy. Thank you, Jen. So let's just give that a little dry. You guys can see that, okay? I never did put my camera down, did I? And I just want to kind of mimic this without having the colors being too heavy, if you will. Yay, Dana Sue. Hope your appointment went okay. Plus, if you don't do that little dry in between and you're going to be adding more than one color, it just will kind of muddy them up if you don't do a little bit of drying, especially since we're kind of watering them down some. but a little mister bottle works amazing for these type of things. Thank you, Jen. So I'll kind of show you the first layer. You can see that there's that sparkly blue, but it also kind of looks like a charcoaly gray. But now that second coat should give us more of a true look as to what they're gonna look like. And I definitely wanna make sure I'm getting some on kind of the tips and the very outer edges, because we're gonna see that. And I gotta say, these tiny little paper plates, they work pretty great for your paints and such, instead of a big one, you know? And they're cheap. Not that I'm cheap, but I'm definitely frugal. A bone density test. Okay, sweet Donna Sue. Thank you, Tammy. And you wouldn't necessarily have to water this down. I just thought it would be something fun to try and kind of see what we could do with the colors, you know, the ones that I've kind of chose here. Just something fun and a little bit different, right? So some of you probably have your plants planted already. I have some planted, but I'll say that, I don't know, this year around here, I'm very disappointed in the quality of the plants, I have to say. I just want a few hangy plants. That's all I really need left with, you know, what I have. And every place that we have gone so far, I'm like, Greg, they're just yuck. I cannot see spending money on any of them. They don't look good at all. And the places that we've gone normally that have been, you know, fantastic are not. Hey, sweet Diane, how are you? So I've been a little disappointed, I gotta say. I don't know what the deal is, but it's more than one spot too. So you could definitely leave off the wings and just do something beautiful to that rice paper. Some foils on that I think would be absolutely beautiful if you're not into doing molds, but if you are, I think these wings on here are going to be gorgeous. Just to kind of create some depth, you know, 3D looks to them. And you can most definitely heat up your Formflex. I wouldn't hold your heat tool there for too long. So now we're going to come in with this beautiful Decor Metal Matte in bronze from Pentart. At least last year choices were terrible. Really? This year here by us is just like, ugh. And there is one spot that I do like to go, like an actual nursery, if you want to call it that. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. You know, and some of their stuff is super reasonably priced, and they do have absolutely gorgeous plants and flowers and all the things. But typically I've been able to find that kind of stuff. Ooh, this is so pretty. A little more water. There's really no rhyme or reason. Hi, my beautiful sweet Robin. How are ya? And so I was just kind of like, wow, I'm not feeling it. We are just decking out these wings, and I'm just kind of using that rice paper as just a little reference. We're not going to cover them completely, so we're going to kind of go up a little bit so you'll be able to see that rice paper. So this is also a beautiful color and one of my favorites. The Decor Metal Matte colors from Pentart are beautimous. And I did not clean my brush in between because sometimes that will help blend those colors together just a little bit. Is good for flowers. Marks, I've heard of that. We don't have one of those. Thank you, sweet darling Robin. This is a favorite. I feel like whenever I go to my closet, you know, every morning before I getting dressed and picking out, I'm like, oh, I wear these same ones all the time, but I just love them and I need some new ones. So I need to go to the thrifty store and see what I can't find. But then if I am not cleaning my brush and I've had a darker color on there, like I did that sparkling blue, I try to be a little bit more light-handed with it so that I don't muddy up the color I just put down, you know, or that might still be on my brush. Okay. Let me show you what we have so far. I love those colors together. And the goal is just really to cover up that white, you know. So I'm thinking I want a little bit more of that kind of down in like the little feathers where they're all kind of meeting. So then maybe I'll just dab a bit. Do you guys know what the dab is? Oh, my grandsons and my granddaughter taught me that. Or the flossing. I can't floss. Do any of you guys? I floss my teeth. That's about it. Oh my goodness, so cute. All right. A little bit more of that sparkling blue. I want to be kind of darker around the edges there. I guess that's the great part because you can just keep coming back and adding, you know? All right, next, there is even a little bit of a super dark, like espresso brown, if you see that in there, on the lower portion kind of the wings there. So we're gonna do just a bit of that. We're gonna do a little bit of gold, and then I have this blue pearl acrylic paint from Pentart. You're gonna see Greg and I cutting a rug, let me tell you that, in October, darling. I used to be a heck of a dancer back in the day. Or I should say I loved to do it. Hip hop kind of dancing, you know, when there was places you could go and dance. Swing dancing, all the kind of stuff. Hi, Mom Barb, how are you? I loved it. All right, so I have the Decor Metal Matte in Chocolate from Pentart. So a TH Decor paint. It is also so beautiful. Just a little bit of water, just to thin it out a little bit. You'll need to practice up, right? We are so like, hey, we just want everybody to have fun. Greg's like, I can't dance. And I'm like, who cares? Nobody is going to come up to you and be like, bro, get off the floor. You can't do it. Right? Oh, that makes me giggle. As long as you're having fun, right? That's what I say. All right, a little bit more down here. And don't worry, when we come in with the gold and that little bit of that pearly blue, I feel like that's gonna brighten these up quite a bit. And then, of course, our beautiful wax paste, we're gonna kind of come in here and there. So I need a little bit more of that sparkling blue so that I can make sure those little edges where all that white from the Form Flex is showing is nice and covered. Thank you, Karen Jean. Nor can I, sweet Carrie. Nor can I. I have floss everywhere. The car, my purse, you know, in the bedroom, in the drawer, of course, in the bathroom. Just wherever I think I might need some. You gotta have it. All right, so it's looking kind of dark, but also I think so pretty. Ron is a good dancer. I dance like Ally McBeal. I used to love that show. I can't wait. I cannot wait, sweet Robin. Of course you don't have to, but there will be any judging, that's for sure. I just really used to love it, and it was super great exercise, you know? But my spine and such can't take it like that. Jeff just stands there like a tree stump, Carrie. Greg, he dances around the house and it gives me the giggles all the time. He's a cutie. All right. We're getting there, guys. And because we have that, you know, really nice kind of neutral, lighter background on the rice paper, I think having these be a little darker is definitely okay. Ally McBeal, I haven't thought of that show in forever. I so love it. But I also, you know, recall a lot of weddings that we went to as kids. That was, you know, during the times when kids were, you know, a little bit more welcomed at weddings, I guess, if you know what I mean. Thank you, Kim. And I learned from my aunts and uncles how to waltz, how to, hi, sweet Lynette, darling. Thank you so much for the stars, hon. How to Polish hop. Does anybody know what that is? Yes, Denise. We giggle quite often together. He says, you know what I love about you, besides the obvious, is that you make me laugh. Well, that's good. I can't stop being who I am, right? That's you, Robin. I do remember. I'm going to have to go look it up. That is too stinking cute. So yeah, we learned how to do all those things. Then when line dancing was a big thing, I did take some lessons on that because it was so much fun. And I really don't see much of that anymore, you know? Of course, my daughter was in dance for years and years and years and years, so that was super fun. And I still remember some of the songs. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that she did, because I mean, they were playing at our house hundreds of times, you know, a week while she was practicing. She would say, Mom, you know, it would be really helpful if you learned like the first part with me, or I'm really struggling with this part, you know, do it with me. I agree, Tammy. I agree. So this is gold metallic acrylic paint from Pentart. So TH Decor again, of course. And let's get a different brush here. And I think, again, just a little bit of water, just to kind of thin it out some. You don't have to do this part. They do, Robin. Wait for me and I'll go with. So we're just going to try to kind of highlight a little bit here or there. And again, I think too, did anybody see the quick play on the chippy tray with the transfer that I struggle bust on again? So there I tried to use some colors that were in, you know, the color family of that transfer, but also a little bit different than what I normally do. And sometimes that's really fun also. Gosh, I actually think that that's pretty good on the gold. I don't want to go too crazy. So let's set that aside. A little dry again, so sorry. Hello, my beautiful and sweet Tammy. How are you, Ladybug Gnomes and Crafts? Super nice to see you. We're just decking out these Formflex wings. Well, Pauline, my darling, how are you? Super great to see your name here and your cute little profile pic there. Is that you in the pic? How have you been? It's so nice to have you. Thank you for joining me. All right, I'm really liking these so far. Thank you, Karen Jean. I appreciate it so very much. All right, just a little bit. Now, we're going to set that aside, or we're going to keep those there, but just go back to our frame for just uno momento, right? And let's come in with the beautiful angel eyes here over that crackle medium that we put down, the one component crackle. I just thought it would be kind of fun. Oh, I hate when that happens. Let me try that again. to do something fun on the outside of your frame. If you don't care for crackle, you could just leave it as is, you know, paint it and maybe highlight it with some wax paste. Smile big, you're gonna be big screen. Oh God, I hate that, Tammy. Or you could definitely do some molds on there, resin, clay. You could just do a little bling trim if you like it. So it's up to you. And I love picking up frames like that from the thrift store. So let's just give it a tiny bit more heat. Sweet Pauline, I'm so happy to see ya. And what's gonna happen is basically as soon as we start putting down our lighter paint color, the one component crackle, again, if you didn't hear me earlier, or you're just popping in, it's kind of, I call it a classic crackle, something that you're putting between two colors of paint, and typically your first color is your base coat, which is darker. You dry that super well, put down your crackle medium, just the one component's all you need. Make sure that is dry super well, and then your lighter color goes on top. It's gonna start to crackle right away, and this beautiful color is gonna come through. I have done it reverse though also, and it's kind of fun. So you would put your lighter color down first. That's okay, Janet, we're still working on them, hon. No problem. And then your crackle medium, and then your darker color on top, and it looks kind of fun. So that's really neat to try too. All right, that feels good. So here's our angel eyes. Let me grab, what do I want to use here? What kind of brush do I want? That one's a little bit too big. Hang on, guys. This one looks kind of good. I like that. I got this at Hello Happiness for $1, that little thrifty craft store near me. And so, I don't know. There's so many different ways that you can do your crackle, that you can apply your paint. I definitely like a nice, soft brush. And I do my best not to go back and forth. So I attempt to make as long of a brush stroke as I can. And I already see it crackling, so I'm going to do just a little more here, and then I'll show you. It's almost like fail-safe. That's why I think I love it so much. So when I first started using this brand, the Pentart, it worked so good that I never wanted to use anything else. And I've done it with, you know, Mod Podge and glue and all that kind of stuff. I haven't had the chance to do much on here. That's okay, darling. I'm just so glad you're okay. So it's already crackling and we haven't even put heat to it. Awesome. It's going to get bigger cracks. And I don't load up my brush with a ton of paint, just kind of like the lower third, I will say. As soon as you kind of see it, where, you know, you kind of have a drag, I always call it, where it feels like it starts to get dry and you're getting off a majority of your paint, that's when you want to grab a little more. But this is just what works for me. And then I find that I'm not overusing, you know, too much product also, where it's going to be super thick and kind of goopy on there. And I got to tell you, the Paint Couture paints, their mineral paints are amazing. I can tell the difference in a good quality paint. And I don't think personally that they are bad priced at all. Sometimes, like we talk, you get what you pay for, you know? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with other paints. I use lots of different kinds. But I do like the quality. They're mineral paints. You can get the chalky paints. That the mineral paints already have that built-in top coat, which is so happy. So if you are going to use transfers and you're going to use it over paint, Paint Couture paints are wonderful for that. Well, thank you, Kimberly. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yes, right, Robin? And that's how I got into these paints, was through Robin. They're amazing. They have smaller sizes, so you can get those 1 ounce containers. And if it's something you think, I don't know that I'm going to love this color, I don't want to order, you know, a big container of it, just get the 1 ounce. And you can actually get quite a, you know, you can get quite a few projects out of that, I will say. I find that most of the time I order the 1 ounce, and I definitely should have just ordered the larger size right away and been done with it, you know. Make sure I got all my sides, all my inside. We want that kind of, you know, crackled and aged look. And then I just had like a small little drip there. All right, so that is before we apply any heat. So it's working beautifully. Yes, for sure, sweet Robin. I agree 100%. So let's go ahead and get it with some heat, and we should get even more crackle. So this would be, I guess, why I call it a classic crackle. It's a bit more of the large cracks, I will say. And my favorite, of course, is the fine line 2-component system from Pentart at TH Decor. And of course, there you get just the most delicate, pretty little fine lines closer together. And that I like too. It just kind of depends. Just now, sweet Lori? Oh, my Lanta. Thank you, Kimberly. That's crazy. Lori, are you on my Telegram, hon? I know I get booted off from, you know, the notifications on Facebook. Hi, beautiful Phyllis. Good to see you, dear. And so anybody who has Telegram, I try to find out, you know, for sure if they do, because that's the only way I know I'm going to be guaranteed to get that message, you know. But sometimes on Telegram, I have found all of a sudden I won't be getting notifications for somebody, let's say. And I'll go into my Telegram, into their channel, and it'll say my notifications are muted, and I didn't do it. So sometimes that can happen. If that happens to you, you'll see a mute, you know, area, and there'll be either a line through it or, you know, toggle it back and forth. That could be what it is that your mute was on, and how that happens, I have no idea. But it's very annoying. Okay. So I love this. I think that is so pretty. That darker poison green chalky paint color underneath is peeking through our cracks. And the combination of those two colors is just very pretty together. So I don't want to go too harsh on the frame. They are wings, right? Little angel wings. So I am loving that. And as that continues to dry, we should get some more crackle. And then just to finish off our wings here, let's just try this. I have several of these pearlized acrylic paints from Pentart, and I don't use them as often as I should either. So let's just see what that might look like. A little bit of that, another clean brush on this one. Not that one, it's crusty. So this has definitely been sitting a bit, but you can, if your paints get a little bit thick, just add a little bit of water from your mister bottle will be perfect. Just a little bit at a time. So we're gonna kind of come in down here. Just see if we like it. Just to kind of bring a little bit of lightness to it. And it's a pearlized blue. Maybe just some around the edges here a little bit. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. We could use the angel eyes on here too. Okay. And I see a spot where I just want a little more of that sparkling blue. We're going to dry these. We're going to put a little bit of that, a few different color wax paste. Let's just try it and see what it looks like and which ones we like. And then we can put our frame together. We can glue these down. And that will be it. I will seal that crackle also on the frame. That's just my preference. I want to protect the crackle, of course, the paint. And I will seal my Formflex castings also. And that you just use the sealer of your choice. Well, hey, Mary Scott, nice to see you. Gotta watch and do a chore. Smile. Hi, Tammy. I know there's others of you who have put me on the big screen and I'm like, oh my God. I used to have a TV in my craft room here, but to tell you the truth, it just took up too much space that I could be utilizing with crafty stuff. So I asked the Gregster, please get it out. Get it out. He was like, I might be able to build you some shelves there now. How are you, Mary? It's so nice to see you. I don't see that it's raining, but I'm also kind of blind at far distances, so I can tell it's gloomy. That's about it. All right, so we came in on the wings, and first we used Sparkling Blue Metallic from Pentart. This one you need a couple coats to get that true dark navy. Then we came in with some Bronze Decor Metal Matte from Pentart. And we watered all of these down. A little bit of Decor Metal Matte in chocolate. Just kind of however you like it. We did a small amount of a metallic gold from Pentart. Any Pentart products are on the TH Decor link. And now we just came in with this pearlized blue. It's super soft and pretty. We want to dry just enough so that we can put a little bit of wax paste on there and our paint isn't super wet, you know. So I have pulled quite a few different waxes. I have a copper. All these colors are in those wings. So these are all Pentart wax paste. I have this really pretty honey gold we could try in a couple areas. And I don't think we need a ton. Then I have a fire gold. That could be kind of pretty. Something a little different. And then just a brass. So if you're unfamiliar with the wax paste, they're what I would say is something similar to Rub and Buff if you've ever used that. But I will say these are a lot softer feeling. They're not gritty. They go on so smooth and pretty that I quickly knew I had to get as many of them as I could over time, of course. It takes a while to collect it, right? So I'm going to just set a couple of these things aside here. And let's just try. We're going to try some of this fire gold. It is one I don't use super often. So if you're not sure, just try it. Take a little bit out on a popsicle stick or what have you. And give it a shot. If you don't like it, you can go right over it with a different wax. No harm done, right? All right, I like to put a glove on because otherwise I get this stuff up under my nails and it's kind of hard to get out. It's very pretty. So let's, oh, I also see a spot. Let me see here. Just a little spot of white I wanted to cover. So I'm putting a little bit down and then taking my other finger that doesn't have any of the wax on it and just going right back over it to kind of blend it, some will say. It's super soft. If a product can be soft, it is. Okay, back to my little popsicle stick. Just kind of doing those edges. think it's quite pretty, actually. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I like it. I definitely have some must-haves when it comes to Pent Art products, and the wax paste are one of them. I also love my heavy body gel in the glossy that you can use to put down your castings. We could use them on here, and they will hold beautifully. You can run your heavy body gel through stencils into the little fondant, like super thin molds, and make your own kind of trim pieces. So I do love it for that reason also. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I love my Silky Shine Decoupage varnish and glue. That's just my favorite. There is a matte available. Let's see here. I do love the Soft Touch varnish that actually gives whatever you're putting it on a soft look and feel. It is gorgeous. No comments on either devices, guys. There we go. Hey, Susie. And then let's try a little of this Fire Gold. Is that what I have? No, Honey Gold. We just used Fire Gold. My apologies. Just a little bit out on your little popsicle stick or whatever you have. A little Q-tip works fine too. Oh, it is so pretty, those two. And you're just trying to kind of highlight, you know, that raised detail. These are Form Flex if you're just hopping in, which basically means it stays flexible. So if I want to wrap these around a curved surface, I can easily do that. And you know what? The wax paste smells so good. You walked your dog, Jen. It's like I said to Donna Sue, don't worry, I'll probably be here when you get out. It's hard to, you know, to rush things. Sometimes I just need that extra time to get it done. So then as we're kind of going over some of these colors that we put down, you still see it, but it's, I don't know how to quite explain it. Let me show you on this pearly blue. Like it's there down in the bottom here, but we just kind of accented it a little bit. So it also kind of softens it up, if that makes any sense. Okay, I don't think that will show really, really well. Let's try. Let's just do a little bit of gold on kind of the area that we did that dark chocolate. And I think that'll be it. Hi, sweet Jill. Never have to be sorry, hon. I'm so happy to have ya. Anytime you can spare or anytime that you are here with me, I love it. Just know I appreciate it. All right, I love how this is coming together. Oh my gosh, on that dark sparkling blue, it is gorgeous. Sometimes I have to say, Kel, that's good. Just stop. Thank you, Jen. So I think that's good. I feel happy with that. Let's just cover a couple of these containers up so I don't go knocking them over as I bring other things back here. And Angel Eyes is my favorite paint couture paint. And if the Fine Line Crackle came in a gallon from Pent Art, I would get it. That's my fave. Well, thank you, Karen Jean. I appreciate you saying that. Hi, beautiful Doris. All right, I think I'm done with those brushes. We're done with these. Oops. We're done with those. So let me just hold that up for you so you can kind of get a better look. I mean, think of the color combinations you could do. If you want to just take a can of spray paint outside and spray paint your wings, you can definitely do that with several different colors. You can make them look a little bit more aged and, you know, antique-ish looking if you give them a coat of some sort of an ivory color, a cream color. Farmhouse linen is beautiful. And then come in with some sort of glaze. That would be awesome also. So let's put our rice paper in here. Glass. And I think this was in there. Was there another piece? Yes. All the things. So I even, pick up frames that, maybe the back isn't the prettiest, because you can always, you can cover it with something, some sort of fabric, material, a piece of like a burlap or even a piece of felt, and kind of make that look a little bit prettier. So even just that, I think, is so pretty. But let's go ahead and get our wings down. And for it, I think we shall use, let's do the heavy body gel. Why not? So you can kind of see, in case you haven't. This is the smallest little container you can get of heavy body gel and glossy. Thank you, Karen Jean. Thank you, Deborah. I hope you're doing well, hon. It's so nice to see you. I bought this at a time when the large size wasn't available. Otherwise, I get the bigger one. And if you get the one that says glossy, it's either on the front of the container or on the lid. Anything that kind of squishes out to the side is, will dry clear, excuse me. How did I have these on here? I want them to kind of go up on the frame. And then, I wonder, now that I'm looking at it, because I don't want to cover too much of the wings that are there. They're so pretty. If we leave a space there, I can do another one of the hearts. So we had just done those on that cube, and we could have the heart right in the center. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that would be kind of pretty? So let me just get, or should we do the wings down lower? That's the choice. Let me show you. So here they are down lower. And we can put the heart on there. I can do that, or we can just leave it as is. So lower, or we put them higher and we kind of attach them just a hair onto the frame up top. So that's higher. What do you guys think? Comment away and let's see. Majority wins, right? I just think that is so pretty. It's very unique. It's different. It's going to kind of be a one-of-a-kind deal, if you ask me. Make sure I don't have these. That's better. I do have them wrong. I did have them wrong. Good Lord. Deborah says higher. Donna Sue says higher. I'm so sorry I had them kind of turned the wrong way, but I guess you could use them both. Thank you, Janet. Higher, says Robin. Higher. Everybody is saying higher. That's what we're going to go with. Do you think we need to put the heart on there? That could be quite the pretty little addition, but it's, we don't need to. I like that. Wow, I can't believe, I'm looking at it, I'm like, something's a little bit off. Girl, do you have the wings on wrong? Yes. And you can still see the other ones. I agree. I didn't want to cover them so much. Much better. Yes. It happens. It happens. Hi, Mary Lou. Hey, Sandra. Everybody's saying higher. Cool, cool. I think the heart would be kind of pretty in there. We could do maybe that pearly blue on the heart with just a little bit of wax paste accents. I think that would be gorgeous. So let me kind of get this where I want. I'm just doing the heavy body gel with a little palette tool. The heart, yes, good, good. Thank you, sweet Kim. Thank you, Mary Lou, for the sprinkle. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what seems off here? So heavy body gel, it does take just a little bit to fully set up, I will say, but not long to grab a hold. And I love it for that reason. And I always say, you might have heard me say it before, like you could use heavy body gel to stick your face to the carpet and you'd be stuck there for life. It works amazing. So if you are somebody who uses castings like this often, clay. Well, hi, Sarah. How are you, hon? You notice, Lynn? Why didn't you say anything? The rustic mustard seed, it's so nice to see you. And I'm sending you a big hug, girl. Clay pieces, resin pieces, all the things. Thank you, Deborah. Heavy body gel is your ticket to these things staying down beautifully. And I dare bet to say we are going to come in with just a little wax paste on those little raised portions on the edges, or I'm sorry, the corners of the frame, just to kind of brighten those up a bit also. In this case, I feel like more is okay. If you use a couple different color wax paste, if you really want to bring out the colors of that rice paper, why not have some color, Get crazy. And you have a little time, where if you want to move them, you definitely can do that. You would just take your little tool and, scrape away the excess or whatever of the heavy body gel if you have any kind of showing. But if you don't and you miss some, it's going to dry clear. Today is a good day, Sarah. I'm so glad, hon. Thinking about you. You were typing it when I noticed it. I said thank you instead. Ah, sweet Lynn, I love you so much. So thank you guys so very much for chilling with me today in the craft room. I really love spending time with you guys, and I thought, gosh, I didn't get to go live Thursday. If I don't go Friday, it'll be Saturday, Sunday. Monday, I have Henley, so it'd be Tuesday. Like, I got to come on, And I like that a portion of the wing, this is where having a flexible casting is really an advantage, because I can push it down up on top of that frame, and it's going to stay there gorgeously. So I will do a casting of that heart from the Heraldry mold. So that actually fits perfectly between the wings. Thank you, sweet Sarah. Love you too, hon. And if you are in need of this mold, definitely check out the link in the description of my live today for Ode to Ooh La La Art. That is our sweet friend Victoria, of course, which many of you know. And I do have something I'm sort of planning for these pieces from that mold. Oops, these two here. So pretty. But you could also just do these back to back. And I feel like you could make some beautiful ornaments. You could put, when your form flex, your resin, your clay, whatever is still a little bit soft, you can put something in between there, some sort of a ribbon. And then once that dries, you know what I mean? You'd be good to go. I could still do it now, glue these together, and it would be fine too to put some kind of a hanger on them. And I think even just having several of these like in an old wooden box or something with a few other things in there could be gorgeous. We've done that a few times with the IOD molds. So then the last thing we shall do together today, guys, let's do is the white resin flexible. Patricia, it can be, hun. So if you use the fast cast resin from Paint Couture, which is in my all paint products link, that's the one that sets up within 10 to 15 minutes. So that includes, you're pouring, you're stirring, you're putting it in your mold and taking it out 10 to 15 minutes. If you grab it out before it's quite 100% cured, it will still have some flexibility to it, which is so happy. Isn't it gorgeous, Tammy, darling? Ugh, I love it too. I could only pick one thing from this release, and it had to be that. I couldn't help myself. Then you can put it on your surface. We were talking about that recently. If you have a bottle, let's say you want to curve it around, go ahead and gently push it around your bottle. It's going to be flexible enough and soft enough you can do that. And then either use some painter's tape and paint that, tape it down, or use some Coban, that stretchy fabric that I show you that I use to keep down my castings if I need a little time for them to kind of cure. And when you take it off, because right away the air still getting to your resin mold that has been soft, it's going to harden to the shape that you put it to. And then you can remove it and glue it down. Does that help you? I hope it does. So my personal, let's do a little of this copper on these little tiny edges, just to show you how pretty that can be. Well, thank you, sweet Carrie. I love it. I think those wings turned out so cute. Here's my glove. What do you guys think of that? There you go. That's all you really need. They should just make gloves that are just the fingers, right, for crafting? So this is copper wax paste. And just over the little raised portions. Oh my God, that's so cute. I feel like I'd do the frame an injustice if I didn't kind of highlight them a little bit. And they're beautiful as is, but then when you put a little wax paste on, you're like, what? That's gorgeous. Okay, good, Patricia Hun. If I don't explain something good, you just say, Kelly, I don't understand. Can you show me? Can we do a live on that? And I will do my very best to help. So then last thing I will do on this guy after the live, I will seal everything. I'll make that heart. Judy Sue, you're still here, darling. I'll put the heart on there, and I think it is just a beautiful piece that you can either hang, you know, have on a shelf. I think it could be beautiful, decked out in a vignette with so many different things. And so that is what we have. See those little corners? Just so pretty. And so our pieces from the heavy body gel, they are already like, they are on. It will fully set up, but they're there. And let me tell you. And something like this, I've done it a few times where I've done paints on a piece that had like this drippy look going on. Thank you, Cecile. And it's really fun to kind of recreate that. Or if you have a larger piece and your rice paper doesn't quite fit, you can do some of that by watering down your paints and or splattering a little bit to kind of create that drippy look. Listening back and forth. I'm so glad, sweet Judy Sue. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you, Donna Sue Hun. That's okay, Judy Sue. I'm so happy to have you on. If you have any questions about anything that we used, please let me know. Otherwise, when I post the final picture, I try to put in there what I used, just in case you're curious or you want to try to recreate some of that or you liked a color. Thank you, Mary Scott. I appreciate it. I think it's going to be real pretty with that heart in the center. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Right, Cecile? I like that look too. Sometimes it's fun to just go with it. Thank you, Jeannie. I'm sorry if I didn't say hello to you, hun. Thank you, Janet. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I will see you all again next week, Tuesday. Thank you, sweet Phyllis. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much, and I'll see you again soon, okay? Take good care, guys. Bye-bye.